Let's see. Is anybody in the chat? Hello, everyone, or anyone that watches the video. Last week it finally happened. Um, Last week, I was fortunate enough to get another deer. I shot a small buck. After I took a few shots to get this deer. Actually, I hit it in the spine and broke its back, and I can't believe the deer dragged itself with its front legs a considerable distance. So it took a few more shots to put the deer out of its misery. And after I shoot a deer, I come back to the house to get the tractor. And I went in, before I got the deer, I went in the garage because I wanted to call up and see who wanted the deer. Because I have to report to the PA Game Commission. When I was in the garage, I couldn't help but notice the stream light that I have mounted to the shotgun looked out of place. Um, I pushed on the stream light. I'll show you. I'm not going to show you the gun, but okay, there's only one gun mount that'll work on a Remington 870 that has rifled sights. This is the Triple G gun mount. Okay, the one I had on the gun, I still have it on there. I've had that on there for, I'd say about 15 years. Well, I noticed when I went back outside and turned the light on, hey Joe Carroll Dodds, when I went outside and turned the light on, I noticed that the beam wasn't where it should have been. So later that evening, after I called up the game commission and found a person that wanted the deer, I got online. I can't believe the prices of these things. This is a new Remington 870 gun mount. This is the only gun mount that'll work on the 870 with the rifled sights because you have to take off you got to take the gun apart, the barrel off and the choke tube. This mounts right to the choke tube. And the only company that makes this is a company by the name of Triple G. Well, the gun mount came yesterday. Well, I look at it like this. I can still use the light if it gets out of. I can still use the gun mount that's on the light mount that's on there. If it gets out of place, I just push it on the bottom, and it stays. But I'm afraid this light mount, the old light mount, could fall off the gun because the metal right here, where my index finger is, where it goes into the other metal, is suffering metal fatigue. I can't. The thing is, I've taken hundreds of shots in 15 years. And I did a search, and the best place to get this from, it ships directly from the factory. I think it's called Mace Sporting Goods. I think I looked at Optic Planet. Back when I bought this thing back around 2010 or 9, I think it was like maybe $24.95. Well, with the $9.99 shipping, the new Remington 870 light mount ran $45.61. It doesn't surprise me. You figure, even though that's good metal, it's very thin. And I figured, I don't want the stream light to fall off the gun. And if somebody wants to put a light on their gun, it's better to get this type of a gun mount. Because I look like this, 15 years of using this thing, hundreds of shots fired. And what the price was when I bought it, it really paid for itself. That's pretty much all I really wanted to say. This was kind of a spur of the moment thing to do a video. Yeah, I don't know how many people, Joe Carroll, actually have light mounts on their firearms. I know that my husband had to help our grandson buy one because he wouldn't be able to buy it until next year. Well, until February 13th anyway. I tell you, around here, there's hardly any places you can buy gun accessories. Inside Firearms, I think used to carry these things when I bought the one from Optics Planet, and their price was high. It's a shame. Like most of the gun stores in this area have gone out of business. He probably had an 872 because I've had other people. Okay, before I got this, I made a bracket and a harness, and using some wood I cut on my table saw and some nuts and bolts. And the first time, and I turned the thing on, and the first time I fired it, it bent the metal and broke the wood. And then I decided, you know what? Look online. There's got to be somebody that makes a tactical weapons light for firearms. And some people said, oh, you could use duct tape. Well, who wants to get the glue from the duct tape all over the firearm? Plus, you know what would happen if you use duct tape on a gun? The thing would come off right away. I mean, I've got more experience shooting deer. I mean, I get more deer in 1 year than most hunters ever get in a lifetime. Now, I never heard of that place, Midway Outdoors. Because Cabela's had the thing too, and it was more expensive. Plus, last week we can't believe it. Okay, back in 2023, we had to get a new dryer. This past year, we had to get a new washing machine. Okay, our dishwasher, the KitchenAid, that's not even 4 years old, died. We had problems with it this week where it wasn't washing right. My wife washed dishes Sunday morning and had to put it through the rinse cycle several times. Then the thing stopped and put out a god awful smell. We think the motor burned. I'm sick of stuff that doesn't hold up very well at all. You know, appliances in this country aren't what they were. You know, knock on wood, our Maytag refrigerator, I think, is about it's close to 20 years old now. Yeah, and Joe Carroll Dodds, if I don't have a gun mount that's attached to the shotgun, I'm not going to be able to get a deer. And the thing I found years ago, my first game warden, he's a really good guy. I think he's still in I think he's in Cumberland County now. He's a supervisor. Tim Weinrich. He suggested putting lights outdoors. I made basically stands to hold lights because with rifled sights, the only way you're gonna be able to sight a deer is to have the light behind you. Well, that didn't work out very well because the deer could see me. Then I had a friend sight a red dot scope. He's actually my dentist. Hey, Near Prepper. And he recalibrated the red dot scope. Another hunter that put it on, the gun told me it was accurate. I couldn't anything with it. Hey, Larry Schulte. Yeah, Larry, this is what I had to get. After 15 years, the old Triple G gun light mount is suffering metal fatigue. I mean, it still works on the gun, but after a few shots, I got to push the thing back up, and I don't want to lose one of these TLR1 streamlights. And I get back to what I was saying. Yeah, I can't go without having a gun light. The thing I found the past few years that works better is to go outside where it's completely without having any artificial lighting. I found I've been able to get way more deer just going out in the dark, shine this handheld stream light that I have a string tied, so I have it around my neck. Then I have just enough time to sight the deer and aim and pull the trigger. The unknown YouTuber, I think I saw you on Craig's chat. I don't know, there's so many people that I've met on YouTube. Like I said, this was a spur of the moment thing. Today we just had it rain here pretty steady. We must have had a half inch of rain. And you know what annoys me with the weather? We needed rain all summer. Then now that this tree business is going to start the day after Friday, we're going to have 3 storms this week. It rained today. It's going to rain, let's see. We're supposed to get rain Sunday night, then next Tuesday and Wednesday rain, and then Friday rain. The weather has changed. I don't believe man has anything to do with it. If you don't mind me asking, the unknown YouTuber, are you from the U.S.? Because I just wonder. I mean, I've met people from all over the world. If there would be a situation that would happen, let's say somebody would try to, you know, people would act up and try to break in somebody's house. You know, most people don't have one of these gun lights mounted to their shotgun. And I've had people say to me, "Oh, why do you need a scope on a shotgun?" Well, how are you gonna? Okay, when you're firing, a single projectile, how are you gonna sight it, especially in the dark? Well, it's nice to see you, the non YouTuber, because I think I remember you said that you had 200 firearms. Hey, from Argentina. My son's been all over the world. I forget if he was in Argentina a few months ago. I put some videos. He was in South Africa. He's the tour manager of a heavy metal Christian rock group by the name of The Devil Wears Prada. He said when he was in several countries in South America, there was civil unrest. Um, I have a short video he did from his hotel room of people demonstrating. Who was Sting? Let's see. Who is Stingray? Do you like those Schwinn Stingray bicycles? I assume you're an adult. No, I know who it is. Your grandfather was German. I'll tell you, I'm a gypsy. I don't have dark skin like gypsies. I've told people before. I actually did a search of the family tree. My family was considered king of the gypsies over in London. I don't know how he would be like a great, 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 great uncle, had the finances just to travel all over the world and write about people. Hey, County Organ, did you want to come up? I could put this in chat. Blank. I just dread this tree business coming up because we're so low on trees. Let's see here. I haven't even had much time the past few weeks to even watch too much on YouTube. I'm trying to diversify. Hey, Mary Freeland. And don't take it the wrong way. I found out that a lot of my ancestors were Freemasons. And then the thing people don't realize, the people that founded this country were all Freemasons. Just because somebody had ancestors that were Freemasons, you can't hold it against them. Because I never really, I don't know much about Freemasons. My wife's brother who died this past January from pancreatic cancer, he was a practicing Freemason. But he got 2 jabs and had a bad reaction. And we think that could have had something to do with what happened to him. I got a question, Stingray. Do you remember Count Patafi? I've been watching when I after I get a shower in the evening, because I don't get a shower till about midnight. Between lifting weights and like midnight's my cutoff for the deer. I've been watching reruns of classic Dark Shadows because I remember watching that as a kid. Because they started showing reruns of that in sci-fi TV back in the 90s when we had we had a cable hookup in the house we used to live in and we didn't even pay for it and it came in but it was like kind of fuzzy. Like I said earlier, this is the only Triple G is the only company that makes one of these gun light mounts for the Remington 870. I figure at my age, if I get 15 years out of this, I'll be happy. Because I've had people tell me you can get other kind of gun light mounts. Everyone, when do I sleep? Well, I'm semi-retired. I go to bed and then I get up about 9 in the morning. In the summer, I go to bed a little earlier. Because next spring, because the unknown YouTuber, I have a Christmas tree farm. I used to be involved with my sister, and we parted ways with that. I probably sleep 7 hours a night. And I don't know what's gonna is that team let me see. Teammate doesn't sell. Let's see. Teammate doesn't sell AK-47s unless he got a toy one. I was disappointed today to find out that what company is it? They're gonna be using the Google chips Meta instead of the Nvidia chips. People were in a panic again with the stock market channels. I said it earlier, you know what's going to happen a few months from now? People don't realize that some of these big tech stocks like Nvidia, at least once or twice a year, there's a pullback. And you know what happens? Okay, every time there's a pullback, it comes back and sets a record. The past few years, if somebody knows a lot about stocks, every time Nvidia hits a new high, there's a big pullback because the day traders are selling the things off. The only good thing I'm looking forward to with the tree business is there are a few customers that I know that are really into finances, and I like talking to them if we're not too busy. Yeah, what tree sales start the day after Thanksgiving. I had people here this weekend, and I said it's too early to get a tree because I know last year with the severe drought we had, which was worse than this year, I could see some of the trees probably didn't hold their needles well. And then people like you go somewhere and they don't hold their needles well on the tree it cut down. You can't blame it on the grower. It's the climate. Every year it seems like when does the rainy season start during the tree business? And it's to the point my wife and I it is what it is. You know, we can't sell what we don't have. Between the crop damage done by white-tailed deer and the deer, you know, eating and rubbing the trees. And it's a long story, but I had somebody that said I'm taking away all the children's reindeer. They're not reindeer, they're white-tailed deer. And then I've had hunters already blame me for them not getting any deer at all. Now I don't have them. Stingray, we are the no frills tree farm. She can sell more trees with an inflatable snowman. What does a snowman do when it's inflated? I like to know. Let's see here. I'll tell you, some people are beyond help. And I'll tell you one thing, it's better not to even, in some ways, there's two schools of thoughts. You don't try to help someone unless they're asking for it. If you tell somebody what to do, they'll take it the wrong way. And it's unfortunate. It seems like every time I do a video and talk about anything that's going on, I piss a lot of people off. And you know what? I don't care anymore. You figure there's a lot of people out there that like they're just not happy. And I heard on the radio a few months ago by studies by several major universities, 1/3 of the people that vote Democrat have allegedly psychological issues. You have Alaskan friends that arrived. Good for you. It's like my wife and I, it's a shame, most of the friends we've had in our life have all died. We're like the last man standing. Yes, I do wrap the trees. If you look at one of my videos, you can see that we have a manual tree baler. The problem is the widest you can buy that's manual is 26 inches wide. To get one of these Howie tree balers that is either powered by a tractor bigger than what I have, or one hooked up to an electric, you're talking like 10 grand for one of those things. So we do it the poor man's way, just pull the tree through the baler. Now my question is, let's see, Wayne Safford, are you in Alaska or are these friends of yours from, I guess you're friend, I mean, it doesn't matter to me if you're in Alaska. Actually, Stingray, there's a place, a shopping center around here that sells trees. They're called Mr. D's Christmas trees. And and I think I said in the one video, I decided to raise the price of trees $1 a foot because everybody else is charging more than us. I think everybody has mental moments. Chap is my trigger word. Well, if I say to Holly, go home or get out of here, that's her trigger word. Actually, if I say the word deer, that gets her going. And that dog is, if I shoot a deer, she knows it. Jim, same here. If I've been helping someone for a while and I try to give them advice, they always take it the wrong way. And I end up having to stop helping them. I'll tell you, some people are beyond help. There's no tree tariffs, Stingray. You have a farm in Argentina. What do you raise in Argentina? Because they don't raise Christmas trees down there. I bet you're growing some kind. What's like this? Where I live, there's like basically no farming left. There's there's one farm around here, Murray made. They actually have a store. Another one about 10 miles away, Freddie Hope Farms. The owners decided and the kids to get rid of the farm because they're sick of the nonsense. Okay, a pimento farm. A lot of tweezers. Arizona, they're on them for a couple of months. One thing I think that's good, okay, I didn't think it'd be done already. Um, Taiwan Semiconductor is making all their NVIDIA chips now in Arizona. Made me think of that. And actually, my friend the manure guy, he's thinking of starting a beef farm on his second property. That real expensive Japanese beef. You know, where I'm living in Montgomery County, this is like liberal city. 850,000 people live in this county, and a lot of our customers come from, look it up, Chestnut Hill area of Philadelphia. It's like there's people down there are like gazillionaires, and they all have a liberal mindset. And then when they come out to get a tree, they have no farm skills whatsoever. I mean, it amazes me how some of these people can't even cut a tree down with a bow saw. And just to save time, if my wife's outdoors, I'll try to walk away and cut a tree down for them with a chainsaw. And then some people they expect me to carry the tree out when these people are like in their 30s or 40s. I'm thinking, no, I'm almost 65 now. They should just be happy I cut the tree down. And the thing, I'll tell you, we're gonna have a really cold tree business. This Friday, it's going to be a high of 42 with 35-mile-an-hour wind gust. And I think I said it's going to rain again Sunday night. Years, I remember years. Okay, before we even built this house here, back in 1995, over at the other property, my sister and I have had. She owns it. We 1995, the weekend after Thanksgiving was good weather. Then we had snow on the ground that came down the Friday before the first weekend in December. Then we had snow on the ground almost all winter. Then I remember the next winter, 1996, it was the wettest December we had. I think we had 10 inches of rain that year. That was a mess. Then the thing is, people think, oh, it's pretty having snow on the ground, but then you got to get somebody to because we have a driveway that goes back to a parking lot that can hold about 30 cars. It's a stone driveway. I wonder why you have so many Alaskans. I'll tell you, from what I've heard from my son, I have no desire to move to another country. Baby sleeps in the color TV box. Hey, Karen Reese, thank you. I'll tell you, there's a lot of people that don't like me, and I don't know why. And North Carolina is a beautiful state. If I was going to live in North Carolina, you know where I would live? Up in the mountains. That's where the Fraser firs are native to. I've tried growing Frasers here, and you can't. We're too low of an elevation. When you get to like 4,000 feet in North Carolina, they grow in the wild. And where the mountains are down there, it's not like Pennsylvania. Like on top of some of those mountains, there's like trees and grass. The low mountains of the Appalachian Trail that I used to hike when I was younger, it's all rocks up there and hardwoods. I think maybe you'd want to be on the show, Stingray. That's okay if you don't want to. Now, Wayne Sanford, do you mean they have big bucks or the deer are big? Because we got some pretty big, actually, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, uh, the area where, like, when you get up towards Berks County, Lehigh County, and Bucks County, that's where some of the biggest deer have ever been shot by hunters in the state. Because those deer go into farm ground and they just eat everything on sight. Now, I've never been on the Appalachian Trail down there, but I've seen pictures and some friends of mine did part of that when I was just too busy to get away from taking care of trees in the summer. Yeah, I've heard of Ash County. And you figure a lot of the rocks on the Appalachian Trail are dolomite and igneous rock. And actually, around here, it's proof that the glaciers got further south than they thought. I know people that live in Upper Salford Township. It's not too far from Schranksville, where this big hill where they have a ski resort is called Spring Mountain, and it's not even a mountain. It's only like maybe 490 feet or 600 feet. I forget what it is. There's some areas in Montgomery County, every here and there, well, you'll just see all these boulders on the ground. And how did that dolomite rock get to where it is? It slid down here during the last ice age. Well, my wife thinks I'm a likable guy because I've known my wife now, let's see, I've known my wife now for 44 years. We've only been married 36. Dolomite and the signified monkey. Does anybody know what Hart Ann Wilson's talking about when she says funky monkey in that one song? Now, are the deer fat or are the Alaskans fat? Well, thank you. I don't do any kind of wardrobe or makeup to be on YouTube. What you see is what you get. Yeah, I saw that you subscribed to my channel, Resi Decor. Thanks. Yeah, I've never gone hunting in my life. Technically, it's called um, crop damage kills. Because actually, I was surprised. Actually, when I shot the deer the other night to put it out of its misery, the last shot was in its head. I could only find one antler to give to the deputy game warden that came down a couple of days later. I think I destroyed one of the antlers. This was a piddly 4 point buck. I mean, I've seen 4 point bucks that have long racks. Each point only came out about 4 inches. I tell you, the sad reality is hunting isn't very popular in this country because of the indoctrination that goes on in schools. Kids are taught to be nice to the animals. I'll tell you one thing I've learned dealing with customers over the years and other people I know. The people that send their kids to the Quaker Friends School or even one of these Montessori schools, or Waldorf school, they're taught kindness. A number of years ago, a family got out of their car, and these kids were wearing shirts that say, "Come, say, well, the Quaker Friends School." The first thing I had heard out of this boy was, "Kill all the Republicans." And these parents are liberal. Isn't that a nice role model? I would never say, kill all the Democrats. That's not the way to treat people. Well, I'll tell you, this is a Gildon pocket t-shirt I got from Boscov's. I always wear pocket t-shirts. So I have a place to put a tissue when I have to blow my nose, and I need a place for my reading glasses. I found that years ago, if you put reading glasses in your pocket, that you could break them. Yeah, I know of hunters, Rosie, that have passed up getting a buck because the rock wasn't big enough. And some of these guys, you know what? They didn't get a deer all year. I know people just pass it up. Most of these guys I know that hunt in the area, they're shooting them for the meat. Yeah, you mean survive. I'll tell you, most of the general population, some of these customers that come out here from the city, they don't even know how to tie a tree on the roof of their car. They'll just start, and I've annoyed people. People just start pulling all this rope out of the, we have baler twine. It's like 9,000 feet. I get it at a local farm store, not Tractor Supply. It's called Perkium and Pet Feed and Supply. These people take 30 feet of rope and they'll just keep wrapping it around the tree and they'll try to tie a bone knot. I've told people you need, unless you're getting like a 12 or 14-foot tall tree, you just need two pieces of rope. The main thing is to pull the rope as hard as you can if you're tied on the roof and, use a couple loop knots. That's all. I mean, most people are helpless. If there'd be like a shit situation occur, I look at it like this. Okay, a person could make a fishing net just by weaving something with rope. A person could make a fishing pole just out of a piece of wood, and use some nylon string and just, make a hook out of, just take some metal, like a clothespin, not a clothespin, like a paper clip wouldn't be thick enough, but a person could use some like wire and make their own hook if they had to. There's so many ways people can do stuff. I mean, the sad reality is so many people in the city, they've just gotten so far removed from farming and hunting and fishing. Look what happens with people when the internet goes down. People go nuts. And you figure the whole reason, like everybody that knows me knows, I'm doing it because I'm sick of the damage. Basically, I think this year on the property, there must be about 70 buck rubs. There's a handful of trees that I should have destroyed that went bad from drought, some old cane and firs, and I left them there because you know why? I've seen it before. A deer could go up to an 8-foot tall tree and strip every branch off the tree 4 feet from the ground. And you figure in this area, the fact that they haven't mowed the park this past year, nobody's going in the park to hunt. The most anybody's doing, there's one guy that was here, Jeff. I've known him for quite a few years. He's a transplant. He left Michigan because of what's going out on there. His family, he was raised in the Dearborn area. Well, he parks on our property in the parking lot, and he's got a deer stand in the park behind the neighbor's property. And he climbs a deer stand and just sits there. You figure it's somewhat open. There's like trees with dead bottom branches. I'll tell you, the people that live in Alaska, that have lived there for years, are wise. They've learned. That's the best way. The best way is to learn stuff on your own. And the thing that's going on now in the world, I don't think there's really much hunting allowed in some of these European countries. I know in some of these countries you got to go to a place and you basically got to borrow a gun. I don't know if you're even allowed to own a firearm, a personal firearm in Germany and France. You figure when William Penn came to Pennsylvania, okay, it was illegal for the commoners to even hunt deer. If somebody would shoot a deer, it was the penalty was death. You had to be royalty to even shoot deer. You figure, look at all the waste that goes on in this country. These restaurants, people order a meal and they don't eat all their food, and it ends up in a dumpster. And actually, my son's been to Alaska a few times with the band he tour manages. He sent us some pictures of the midnight sun. How when he was there in the summer, where it was just right above the horizon, he said for a few hours it looked like dusk almost. Now, what do Eskimos drink? Do they drink beer or like whiskey? Well, I have a couple beers every night. So does my wife. She went to bed. My wife gets up so early. She goes to bed a little after 9. She has to leave to go to work before 6 in the morning, being a nurse in a doctor's office. The name of the band is The Devil Wears Prada. The name of that band, they came out with the Devil Wears Prada name before the movie was ever released. Actually, my son is in Europe as we speak. He was last week. He was in Frankfurt, Germany, and I said, if I was in Frankfurt, Germany, I would have had a Frankfurter, but he didn't have a Frankfurter. See, I don't like when I was younger, like whiskey with soda is okay, but my alcoholic beverage of choice is a tasty beer. And it's not just the tariffs. All the German beers went up in price. I was buying Labatt in 24 16.9 ounce cans, which is 500 milliliters. When Joe Biden was president, a case of that was 21.99. Then it slowly went up to 26.99. Last time I was there, the price was 30.49. So my wife and I, what we're drinking, you know, alternating. Sometimes a can of Budweiser or a can of Miller, a can of Colt 45. But you can't beat the German beer, though. And if Alaska has a really short growing season, but they do grow food wherever they're able to in Alaska. And you figure even in my area, most people they don't have gardens. And you know how you can tell? The people that pay to have the yards mowed are the ones that don't have a garden. I don't know if that's really a beer or if you're making that up. 3043. I never heard of Operation Kino. I'll tell you, there's so many operations going on with every government's military, they're equivalent to these three-letter agencies. And I'm really disappointed Pam Bondi isn't getting more done. I've seen a few people on YouTube that think Trump ought to replace her. And then I don't know if it's true or not. JD Vance, it sounds like, doesn't get along with that Susie Wild too well. I'll tell you, none of us know what's going on at all. We really don't. I hope, okay, everybody's watched the video. I hope those members of Congress get charged with sedition because they're all pretty much telling the military they're trying to cause a rift in the military when they say, don't disobey any unlawful orders. If you're in the military and you don't obey a lawful order and you question it, you're going to end up on Leavenworth. Actually, you know what I think what they had to do with the military people that convicted? Send them to Stalingrad. But yeah, I'm not signing anything, Stingray. Well, actually, I'm going to have to sign. It's a pain in the ass. The new dishwasher's coming Friday when the tree business starts. And my wife has to run out to ShopRite to get the stuff she wants, which is about 8.5, 9 miles each direction. And she says she'll be home before hopefully she'll be home before the dishwasher install people come. Hey, that's the key to having a good life, being a hard worker. There's too many people well, I know people can make it on less than $30 an hour. The big problem in this country is too many people don't want to work. They get a college degree and think because they have that degree that they're entitled. And actually, the people that are making out well are the people that went to trade school. In this area, there's a shortage of auto mechanics. Actually, the place I used to take my truck to, the guy kind of went out of business. He was older than me and had trouble getting mechanics to show up at work. The place I take my truck to expanded their garage. It's on Germantown Pike. It's called Marker Motors. They expanded the garage, and now they got a six-bay garage. Yeah, I know Jack Carroll does. All that stuff is like um, so time-consuming to read. Actually, I think this winter my wife and I ought to get a will made. So your wife's take care of the grandchildren. Yeah, we don't have any grandchildren yet. Our son, he's got a steady girlfriend, but the biggest problem with the relationship, like what he has, is he's out of the country most of the time. And he's exhausted. They only had like less than a week from the last tour they were on. Because our son's he's not even gonna be in the U.S. Thanksgiving. I think he's in Belgium today. He was in Italy a few days ago. Actually, you know what country is really smart? The people were, because they have deer problems in Europe. The Italians, the Italian people eradicated a lot of the deer population a long time ago because the deer were eating their grape plants. So Stingray, your wife, you mean ex-wife, is paying for everything. I didn't know you consider yourself a bum. Hmm. Well, I'm trying to get my wife to retire, but you know what? I've said it numerous times. She's staying at her job because of the health care. insurance. Well, I look at it like this. I'm not going to retire until I can't do this kind of work anymore. Figure my dad was doing stuff with the trees till he was about 78 years old. And I've cut back a lot. That's why I'm not involved with my sister. My sister has a website, Corkum Tree Forums, and their Facebook page. I think they're trying to overexpand. They got 13. They paying 13 people to set up a little over 1,000 pre-cut trees to resell. And the thing is, it's just like any business. The larger you get, the lower the profit margin is. That's why so many of these stores have gone out of business. But if we have good Black Friday sales and good Cyber Monday, I think the stock market will go up a little. Actually, consumer sentiment is down. And you know why consumer sentiment is down? Because they watch the fake news. They watch the fake news. I watch it too, but I don't believe what they say. You put on ABC News, they talk about how bad the economy is. The last month for job earnings report was higher than expected. And you figure unemployment was gonna be up a little because look at all the federal workers Trump fired. And then the thing is, you figure there's so many people that they don't want to go to work. They want to do it all at home. My CPA told me most of the people that work for the Department of Revenue in Pennsylvania, they're doing this stuff from home. I send I send quarterly estimated income, not for the Christmas tree business, for my dividend income from the stocks. And then I got an email from the Department of Revenue that said I overpaid. If I didn't send estimated, I'd have to pay a penalty when George does my taxes, which have to be in by March 1st with the farm income. But the fact that I send them estimated, it really doesn't have to be in now to April 15th. Yeah, a lot of the U.S. debt is held by Belgium. I've never been to Europe, but I'll tell you, I think that there's some deep state people. Well, you know what? They're in every freaking country. I don't know if those were one of the countries involved. Allegedly, Germany and Italy was one of the countries that was involved with doing stuff with certain machines around election time. I tell you, yeah, and the Belgian beer has really gotten expensive. That Carlsberg beer, I bought that a few years ago when it was $21.99 a case for 24 16-ounce cans. Now it's $40 here. And I look at it like this: people still, inflation's at 3%. The whole problem is everything Joe Biden did. It's going to take. People are just too impatient. The price, the price of some stuff has gone a little more reasonable. Around here, some of the grocery stores have a dozen eggs on sale for $2. We're never going to see a dozen eggs for 99 cents again. And the whole problem with the meat thing, I've talked about it before. There's not enough cattle farming in this country. People seem to forget Joe Biden paid these farmers not to grow crops. And I said during my last video, we have set a record for the amount of grain we have in storage. The big problem with the amount of grain we have in storage is rodents getting to it. And I saw on Fox Business today, we set a record, the United States set a record for the amount of oil drilled. I forget how many millions of barrels it was this year. And gas, okay, we have one of the highest state, we have the second highest gas tax in the country. It's actually a surcharge. I got gas today for my truck, and it was 3.19 a gallon. Fuel oil was down to 3.10. Last week it was at 3.38. Actually, today I think crude oil closed under 60 again. I know I have a little Irish blood on me in my mother's side of the family. Actually, on my father's side, I'm German and English, but you know, the English has to do with the Boswell Gypsy family. And I didn't realize my family was gypsies until I started doing research. I was saying to Craig the Hunter to look up Granny Boswell. I don't know any curses, and if I did, I wouldn't use them. Yeah, I don't have any Native American in me. Okay, that's the way I feel, Wayne Safford. I don't get respect from some of these people who have YouTube channels that I've been on. That's why that's why I'm not being seen some places where people might have expected me. Yeah, do a search of Granny Boswell's. It was rumored that the Boswell family were able to tell someone's fortune. Then you look at the word fortune. What does that mean? Wealth. Then they had good foresight, which meant they could predict the future. I'll tell you, I don't know. I'm not going to come out and say I'm going to predict this or that, but I have good foresight about a lot of stuff that has happened and will happen. And actually, yeah, my niece's wife, she's a Choctaw Indian from Oklahoma. And diesel's $4 around here. Pennsylvania's never gonna see the low prices. And the sad reality is, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. The old Arco, it's changed hands a number of times. When I was a kid, the old Arco oil refinery in Philadelphia caught fire. That was bought and sold so many times, and it's been closed for maybe 7 or 8 years. The big problem this country has is we need new oil refineries. Every oil refinery in the United States, and I think I said it before, was set up to refine the heavy crude oil, like the stuff from Venezuela. And between the people running Philadelphia and our, liberal governor, they don't want to rebuild that refinery. The old Sunoco refinery in Philadelphia was the largest oil refinery east of the Mississippi River. So you know how a lot of this stuff is traveling now that's been refined. There's terminals. It's going through pipelines. Hey, before the pandemic, my son was with it wasn't the Devil Wears Prada. It's when he was working for a group called Set It Off. He had been to Russia quite a few times. He actually said he thought he liked the people in Russia better than the Ukraine. I think everybody knows why. But he said because they were in Moscow and a few other cities, he said the people there, they're all somewhat on the poor side. Hey, tell you the best way, I tell you, most people in this country, if they go abroad, they're tourists. They're not working in the entertainment industry with other people and seeing. It's like looking at a coin. The tourists look at one side of the coin. The people that go to other countries and do work are looking at the other side of the coin and they're seeing what things are like. I don't. I have no clue as to, I'll tell you, I think oil next year is going to be down to $50 a barrel. And for some people that didn't hear me say it before, Exxon said they can make money at $35 a barrel. And I'm surprised ExxonMobil stock hasn't gone up a lot. I think Target Resources stock that's down about 18 to 20% from its all-time high. They do a lot of stuff with pipelines. I think they're going to go back up. I think that stock's going to go up in price. Yeah, Trump's right about that, Joe Carl. But the problem is you got states like California and Pennsylvania that have such high gas taxes. I've been told by people that, like New York City, the gas is cheaper than around here. Because when my son's home, his girlfriend lives about 55, 60 miles from Baltimore. And gas down there, when we saw them before we went on tour again, he said was 2.85 a gallon. You figure it's going to take time. I said one of my videos. One reason why all this prices is electricity being higher means the cost to refrigerate food in the grocery store is going to be more, and the cost of electricity being higher means the oil refineries are going to have to spend more on electricity to refine the oil. You figure everything is connected. It's like a chain. Once the price, I think electricity should drop. Excuse me, post nasal drip. I think a year from now, electricity will drop in price because most of the, if you choose in Pennsylvania, the price is like I think 11 cents per kilowatt hour, and I'm gonna have to change electric providers in the next 2 weeks. Well, you're too kind, Rosie Decor. Wow, it's 11:33. My wife is up. She had to use the facilities. Our bedroom is right above the family room. Yeah, he is a badass. And I think it's going to come out that there was way more rigging that went on than not just the US and all these other countries. Okay, sometimes it's like this. The more live streams to do, the more on my own. If you're on a panel and there's too many people, you got people talking to each other. I'll tell you, I have problems with allergies. I was even though we've had rain, walking around where I'm shearing trees in the back corner of the property, there's all this dead grass. And I've been cutting honeysuckle off of trees because when you mow with the Kubota, you can't get all the stuff underneath the tree. Yeah, I hope the military takes over. The liberals I know in this country, like family members, they'd be shitting their pants if we had martial law. Because I've talked to some of the game warden and deputies about this. It wouldn't bother them one bit. It's like I'm blowing my nose all the time, and it's from all the allergies. Plus, I hate to say it because I don't want to deter people from getting a Christmas tree, but these Christmas trees have mold on them, and if you have an allergy, forget that. And thanks for being concerned, Paul. I'm okay. And the last time I did a live stream, somebody was asking where the dog was. If I if I start doing a live stream, she goes upstairs. She doesn't. My dog is smarter than me. She doesn't want any part of these live streams at all. Okay, I'm not even sure how long I've been on. Let me just check and see. Let's see, 59 minutes. I'll tell you one thing I've learned in life is if you have a problem with somebody, it's better to confront them directly. But what annoys me is I've contacted people that allow people on their chat that aren't nice to me and they don't return my emails. If somebody disrespects me, That's it. I'm done with them. Life is too short to be fighting with people on the internet that you only know from the internet. I found the same thing out on audio forums. You got people that like they think they know it all, and I tell you, when someone has expertise in anything, you can tell just by asking people certain types of questions. But you know what, Wayne? I don't think some people can handle it. And the thing with Mandami, part of that with Mandami was he was kissing up to Trump. Then he called him a fascist. Um, I don't know if it was Meet the Press because I don't have much time in the house to watch any of this news until it's dark. I think everybody would feel better. Well, it's like this: they still got to get rid of bad people and the FBI and CIA. And there's moles. And I look at it like this: we probably have moles in the deep state. With all the stuff that's been talked about, we're dismantling the deep state. My biggest concern is all these illegals that came over here. It amazes me. There were so many people, and I don't want to argue with customers and family members I haven't seen in years, that, everybody in the world doesn't have a right to come to this country. Now, you talking about gas or stocks? I only buy Exxon. Yeah, there's not many Exxon stations around here. You know what we have more of than anything around here? Sunoco's. Yeah, there's a lot, people are saying there's a split with MAGA. I don't think there was at all. Trump did play him. It would have looked poor. All the fake news people were hoping Trump had a drag out fight, like what happened with Zelensky. At least Mandami had enough respect to wear a suit at the White House. And I'm sick of Zelensky. If Zelensky doesn't take the deal, Ukraine's going to completely fall. And the thing is, that Zelensky, I saw one video where part of the deal is that he isn't prosecuted after after the deal is made. Well, I'm glad to still be alive too, because nobody in this country wants any kind of a war, conventional or nuclear. Well, today it's 11:36. I've been on an hour. I think I'm gonna say goodnight to everyone. Well, it's nice to see some of the new people that showed up. I figured I'd probably see Joe Carroll Dodds unless somebody else was on. And you never know who's going to go on what unless they show in advance. This was just a spur of the moment thing to show the new 870 gun mount for the TLR1 Streamlight. As I said earlier, 15 years I got my money's worth out of this thing. And I was actually thinking of getting another shotgun, not even for the deer, but for groundhogs. And nobody has one around here. I should have bought one when I bought the 870. One of my favorite guns is a single shot New England Arms, the kind that you pop open and the shell ejects. Okay, thanks everyone for watching. Until next time, I don't know. Hey, the tree business starts Friday. It's going to be a while before I get around to even doing a show. One night I'll do a show probably in December. You know what? Thanks for watching my show, everyone. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Good night.